Cześć, cześć, cześć. Hello, Kitty. Can you hear me?
Hello, yes.
Okay. You weren't available yesterday?
No, because I have doctor appointment.
Oh, I see. Okay. I see. All right. So, do you know what we're doing here today?
Listening and speaking, right?
Yeah. Do you know what for?
For IELTS?
Not for IELTS, no.
Uh, I don't know.
You don't know. Okay. So this is listening and speaking for your uh interview.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. And seeing as you weren't here yesterday, I think we're going to need to go over the material that we did yesterday. Okay. Which universities have you applied for?
Swansea.
Why Swansea?
Because it ranking good ranking.
Mhm.
And I got good grade on level 4 and might be level 5 either.
Might be level 5. Sorry,
Also, yes. I have good grade.
you got good grades. Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's good. So, Swansea University it is then. Okay. Have you ever done an interview?
Not yet.
All right. So let's have a look then at what I showed the other students yesterday. Here a moment. Okay. So it's not actually IELTS, but it's for university speaking and listening tests, but it will be quite useful for IELTS as well. Okay, they're very similar. Okay, so let's have a look at a typical speaking test at a university. Now, when you do your speaking test at the university, it is usually just the interview. Okay, so you're going to have an interview, and based on the interview, they're going to do two things. So they're going to establish your ability to speak English on several topics. Okay. But they're also going to establish your suitability for the course that you have chosen. Okay. Now, they're going to do those two things. Can you speak English well? And are you going to be a good student for the course that you've chosen at their university? All right. So the speaking test for the IELTS is just going to assess your speaking, right? But here it's a little bit different. They're going to find out whether you are suitable for their course. So do you understand the difference?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And depending on the university, it could be a separate speaking test, but it usually isn't. And it's usually just 10 or 15 minutes long. Okay. And it's going to be an interview with a native speaker, usually somebody who works at the university. And there's usually going to be two phases to this. All right. So let's have a look at those. Phase one. Phase one, they're going to be asking general questions about your current situation. So your current situation is things like where you live, but it's also going to be study because you are studying. And so this is where they're going to ask you questions about your course, that type of thing. Okay. Part two, They're going to ask you to speak on a topic, and you're going to speak on a topic for 2 minutes. Now, if you've done IELTS, this is very similar to part 2 of the IELTS test. Okay. They ask you to speak for 2 minutes. Topic that you get will be presented on a card, and it will just be general topics based on your experience. They're going to ask you to speak for 1 to 2 minutes, but really, it would be better if you spoke for the whole 2 minutes. Okay. Now, when you are doing the interview, it will probably be on Zoom. I don't think you'll be going to England for the interview. So you need to prepare a pencil and paper so that you can write notes to prepare to speak for 1 to 2 minutes. Okay, are you clear so far?
Yes.
Good. Okay, now, what's the purpose of these different phases? So phase 1 is looking at accuracy. What does accuracy mean?
Precisely.
So is your English precise? Is it correct? Phase 2 is more interested in fluency. What does fluency mean?
Consistently.
Okay, so if you can speak without stopping and you can speak for a long time, that represents fluency. Okay. So that's what they're testing. First of all, they're looking for accuracy. Is your grammar correct? Is your vocabulary correct? But then they're looking for fluency. And in phase 2, they'll be expecting you to make more mistakes. Okay, so don't worry about making mistakes. They're going to be looking at what you can do, not what you can't do. Now, if you can do more than you can't do, then that's probably going to be okay. But if you can't do accuracy, if your English is not accurate and you have no fluency, then they're probably not going to accept you onto the course. Okay, so just listening to you right now, based on what I've heard from you in previous classes, I don't think you need to worry about the test. I think you'll be okay, but we're going to prepare for it anyway. All right, so part 1 often lasts for about 4 to 5 minutes, and they're going to ask you questions about what's going on in your life now. It could be things like where you live, where you come from, your family, your interests, your study, your work. Any questions related to university, for example, future plans? All right, now, when you are preparing for your interview, you've got to think about making a positive impression. You've got to, more than just your English, they've got to be impressed with you as a person. Okay. They've got to know that you're suitable to do their bachelor's degree program. So, not just going to be your grades. If you got good grades, that's a great start. But they just want to know, are you going to be the person who's going to finish their course and get them good grades? Because in the United Kingdom, universities are measured by success rates. Okay. So they're wanting to know, can you finish the course and will you be successful? So one of the things that they may ask you about is your motivation and your interest. What does motivation mean?
Inspiration.
So your motivation is the energy that you put into something. Okay? If you're motivated to do something, you will put a lot of energy in it. They also want to know, are you interested in the topic that you will be taking? So this is a very typical question. You know, why do you want to attend this university? So what about Swansea? Why do you want to attend Swansea University?
Because it's a top university and good ranking with my favorite faculty that I want to get in.
Okay, all right. So where's the ranking?
83.
In what?
In business.
Yes,
business.
but
Okay.
which ranking? There are about 20 or 30 rankings. There's global ranking, there's ranking in the United Kingdom.
Global.
Do you know which ranking that you're talking about?
Global.
It's global. So it's number 83 in a global ranking.
Yes.
You're absolutely sure?
Yes.
I find that very difficult to believe, to be honest.
Huh?
Have you seen the ranking yourself?
Someone sent me ranking such as like my professor at Thailand.
Okay, so this is my point. Don't go into your interview with incorrect information. All right.
Okay.
So if it's not 83 global ranking, that's going to be a problem because you don't really know where it's ranked. Now, if you say it's 83 in the Financial Times top 100, which is a very popular ranking in the United Kingdom, then they will understand what you're saying. Okay. But if you just say, oh, it's 83 global, and you don't really know where that information has come from, Prin, welcome. You don't really know where that information has come from. It's going to be negative for you. Okay.
Okay.
Why do you want to study this subject? Empire, can you hear me okay? Empire, can you hear me? Empire, can you hear me? No? Okay. I'll keep going anyway. Just give me one moment. Okay, why do you want to study the subject? What subject are you going to study at Swansea?
They will ask this kind of questions.
Yeah, well, you see, I'll give you an example. When I was going to university, I went to Nottingham University and I got the name of the course wrong. I went for an interview and I gave them the name of a course from a university in London. So they didn't accept me onto the course. Okay. So you need to know full information about the course that you are applying for. What's the course exactly? And usually a course will have a number. So get the course number as well. Okay. Now, if you don't know what the course is, you can't answer this question.
Oh, what is course number?
I don't know. You need to find that information out.
I mean, like the meaning
Every
of the
course,
course.
every course at a university, if you look in their manual, it will have a number, 2035. Okay, every course will have a course number. So you need to know what the course number is and the course name. Every name is very different. It could be business and international relations, or it could be business and UK depot, something of that nature. Okay. So my point is this: you need to really get some good information about the course. Don't go into the course don't go into the interview not really knowing what you're talking about. Okay. All right. So they want to know if you are committed. If you are committed, that means that you really, really want to do this course, not just any course. Yeah. Now, I understand that your motivation is probably you just want to study in the UK. But the university needs to know that you want to study in the UK at that university. Do you understand what I mean? Do you see what I'm saying here?
Could you repeat again? Sorry.
What I'm saying is that you need to have this information available because it will show that you are very interested in
Okay.
university. Now, I think you're probably just interested in studying in the UK. Is that right?
Actually, university too, but I don't have enough information.
But the thing is, there are 100 universities in the United Kingdom. If you want to study in the UK, you could study at any university. Why do you want to study at Swansea? That's the question that they are going to ask. Why? At the end of the year, the government will assess each university by the number of students who have passed their programs. If they think you are going to pass the program, they will offer you a place. But if they don't think you're going to pass the program, they probably won't. And one reason that they might not is if you don't know the details of the course. Okay?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay. All right, good. So what about asking you about you? How would your friends describe you? Okay, so this is a typical question. Tell me about yourself. What they want to know, they want to understand your personality. They want to know if you're a creative person. Do you like teamwork? Okay, so how would you describe yourself now without thinking about it? How would you describe yourself?
Kind, positive, and hardworking.
Okay, so you're going to have to give me examples of each of those.
The reason why that my friend describe me as kind person because I like to help my friends from their problems and give them advice. And positive
going.
because when I first met someone, I will always like look at them as like, oh, they're a nice person because I just met them. But other person might see like some negative way, some negative because like to protect themselves. And the reason why that my friends also describe me as hardworking because I always like the first person that send assignment to the teacher.
Okay, that sounds pretty good. All right. Not bad. You've not even thought about that, so that's pretty good. But if you think about it more, maybe you can find some better vocabulary, all right? Or you can find some better reasons. All right, let's have a look at another thing. Academic and extracurricular engagement. What does extracurricular mean? Any idea?
No.
Okay, so curricular means the course. Extracurricular means additional to the course. Now, at universities in the United Kingdom see themselves as a community. They see themselves as part of the local city or town. And they will be very interested to hear students who, yeah, they want to study, but they are also interested in extracurricular activities. So, for example, what are you reading at the moment? Okay, question could be about your interests, your critical thinking, books. Well, are you reading anything at the moment?
Yes, I'm reading about psychology book.
You're reading a psychology book.
Yes, because it can use in the future, such as when I'm a leader of the company, I can like use them to selling the product that I want to sell.
Excellent answer. Excellent answer. What's the name of the book?
It's a Thai book.
Okay. What's the translation of the name of the book?
It's about psychology, about lead to read mind of people.
Okay. All right. That's a great answer. All right. So let's have a look at another question. What achievements are you most proud of? Now, I'm not saying you're going to get all of these questions. All right. You've only got 15 minutes, but they may ask you some of these questions. So don't worry, you're not going to get all of the questions. But an achievement that you are proud of, what could it be? Something that you did at school, all right? Something that you did outside school, something that you're proud of doing. For example, maybe you were in the Scouts and they gave you an honor in the Scouts. Maybe you got the best grade at your school, you got the best score. Maybe you got a grade A for your university. Oh, you haven't finished university yet. So yeah, maybe you got a high score at school, something like that. That's an achievement. Is there anything that you can tell me about?
Actually, I was my score, my grade was in fifth from 50 from at school, and I used to play piano. And I got surprised. But at least I put an effort to play the piano, which is so
Okay,
hard.
right. Okay. All right. So that's an accomplishment, something that you were, you were number one. You were top in your field. You did something that you are proud of. Okay. Another
Excuse
question.
me,
Again, sorry.
could you send me the slide
You
after class
oh,
end?
you're gonna get this afterwards, yeah? I'll send it to you afterwards. Don't worry.
Okay, thank you.
Tell us about your previous studies. So your previous studies will be at Finn Business School, and your previous studies might be at school, but they're probably going to be more interested in what you did at Finn Business School. Okay. So previous education, subjects you excelled in, and any noticeable achievements. Tell me about Finn Business School. You're going to study for 2 years. Tell me about it.
It was great, and every teacher treated me well.
They're not interested in that. They're interested in what the subject is.
Mm.
They're interested in the topics. So, for example, how many subjects do you study at Finn Business School?
14.
And which are you happiest with? Which did you get the best scores in?
I actually I got distinction at customer service,
Mhm. Okay.
and it's a exam subject.
Yeah. Any other subjects? You don't need to get a distinction, but anything else that you did well at?
I also love UFTH, which is finance,
Okay. Why?
because I love mathematics, and it's my it's my cup of tea.
Okay. That's fine. Okay. Good. All right, let's have a look at another question. What have you enjoyed the most about your previous studies? Now you can maybe here you can talk about the teachers, all right? But again, they'll be more interested in you in hearing about the subjects. What have you enjoyed the most in your previous studies?
And I tell about the society.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's about a society which have a lot of friends that friendly and not too much competition with me. Also they good at help each other problems, and about like we can talk everything to each other.
Okay. Okay. All right. So again, topic is academic background and achievements. So that might be something, but a little bit about the course, something that you really enjoyed about studying at Finn Business School, that you really enjoyed. What did you enjoy learning the most at Finn Business School? Was it geography? Was it what did you enjoy the most? Maybe it's not what you got distinction in, but what did you enjoy the most?
It's still about customer service subject because I love to like service people, and I in the future I would like to open my own company, and I of course I need to like service about like a lot of people that want to buy my product.
Okay, good answer. Let's have a look at another call. Now, again, understanding the course. What do you know about the course structure and content? Not the course at Finn Business School, the course at Swansea. Now, you've just told me there are 14 subjects in Finn Business School. How many subjects are there at Swansea?
I think it's about 8.
You think about 8. So there'll be
I was counted in a website. I was
Okay.
counted the subject.
All right. So, and what about the course structure? There are 8 subjects, and I mean, what happens in the do you have to pass each program, or do you just take a test at the end? Do you get a score at the end, or do you have to take an exam?
So it's not have the calculated subject, so it's not there's no exam, but it
Okay, so
will
that's
be
called
assignment instead.
that's called continual assessment. Okay, it's called continual assessment. So, rather than an exam, they look at your performance during the course, and then they say, yeah, you have passed, and they say, yeah, you have failed. Okay, that's called continual assessment. Now, so you need to know details about the course structure. Okay, it's continual assessment, how many courses there are, how many tests there are. I'm sure there will be some tests, even though it's continual assessment. Try to read your manual really thoroughly so that if they do ask you any questions about it, that you will be able to answer. Okay. What skills do you have that make you a good fit for this course? So this is, again, sort of question that come up with. Talk about your academic and your personal skills, critical thinking, communication, time management, teamwork. What about you? What skills do you have that would be good for the University of Swansea course?
It's about planning the project and what to do, also management about the time and people and work.
Again, sorry?
It's about planning the project and about
What
what
do
to do.
you mean by it's about? What do you mean? I'm asking you about skills. So
Oh,
tell me
I
about your
have
skills.
planning and management skills.
Okay, so how do you know that?
From school, from Finn College, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Also
Okay,
teamwork because when I was at school, I have a lot of group work and it's successful.
okay, all right, good. Can you give an example of a time when you demonstrated leadership, teamwork, problem solving? So you just talked about your school, all right? Can you give an example of maybe you were the leader of a team, or you were involved in a team, or you had a big problem to solve? Do you have any examples for that?
Actually, when it's group work, my friends always chose me to be a leader because I'm good at uh arrange arrange some arrange some people work to like you do this one and you do this one, and it's
Hmm.
always like in time.
I see. Good. Not in time, on time. On time. Okay. All right, good. Let's have a look at another question. How do you think this course will help you achieve your career goal? Now, yesterday we had some students come into the class. What's your future career? I haven't thought about it. Okay. You need, even if you're not sure right now, you can't go into a university interview and say that you're not sure. Okay. You must go into a university interview and you must tell them precisely what you're going to do, even if it's not true. Okay. What your career goals are. What do you hope to achieve? You want to start your own business? What's the business that you want to achieve? What's the business that you want to start? And how will the course at Swansea help you to do that? Okay. So I don't know about the course at Swansea, and maybe you don't, but what about your future goals? What are your objectives for the future?
I want to keep the money from be air hostess on airplane, and if I have enough money, I will go to invest my own business company and sell cosmetic because I love doing makeup.
Mhm. Okay. And how do you think the course at Swansea will help you to do that?
I think it's about like strategic about business and management about people in my company in
Strategy,
the
not
future.
strategic. Strategy.
Strategy, okay.
Okay. All right. Good. Now, again, maybe you can look at that and you can give it a little bit more detail, but your career plans. Okay, so you've told me about your career plans. That's fair enough. Now, you're talking about starting a business in the cosmetics field. Is that correct? Because you like to do makeup.
Yes, yes.
So, what current issues in your field of interest do you find most intriguing? So, intriguing means interesting. Now, this is a difficult question because people don't generally think about this until they're actually doing the job. Yeah. But what they're expecting you is to have some knowledge of this area. Now, for example, what's a big problem right now as far as business is concerned around the world?
Oh, you mean my company in the future?
Yeah, not
Uh,
just for your company, but every company right now. What's a really big problem for every company around the world?
it's about, I think it's about like mistake about products.
What do you mean?
I mean such as cosmetic product. Maybe it's a wrong shade of color that produce.
Okay, all right, but more than that, there's a problem right now with tariffs. Do you know what tariffs are?
It's a tax.
It's like a tax, and in the United States and in China, they're putting tariffs on each other's products. And so, in countries like Thailand, products from China and from the United States are becoming more and more expensive. And that means that it might be difficult for you to start your business in the future. Okay, if products from China particularly become more expensive, then it's going to be difficult for people to start businesses. Now, that's the sort of problem that they're interested in. something from the real world. Okay. Shades of makeup, that's very specific to your business. But they're interested in what's happening in the real world that affects your business. Can you see the difference?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So to answer this, maybe you're gonna have to look at the news before you go for your interview. Have a look at the business pages, see some things that are, a problem for most businesses. Okay, and demonstrate your awareness of current trends and challenges in your field. Okay, so tariffs is a very good example. How do you stay informed about developments in your area of interest? Okay, so journals, websites, professional groups. Now, you are interested in starting a cosmetics business. How do you find out information about that business? Now, if you're going to do this in the future, they'll assume that you're interested in it now. And so that you will go to various websites or maybe look at journals or magazines or so that you have information about the business. Do you do that? And if you don't worry. Do you do it?
Oh, I don't understand the question.
Okay, so for example, right now you are interested in cosmetics, in a cosmetics business, right?
Yes.
Okay, so how how do you find out information about the cosmetics industry?
Oh, you mean how I find out that I'm interested in
No,
cosmetic?
you said you're interested in the cosmetics industry.
Yes.
If you're interested in the cosmetics industry, right now, you should be looking at information about the cosmetics industry.
Ah,
So that would mean that you're really interested in it because you know where to find the information. So which websites do you look at? Which professional groups are you? Which magazines? Now,
I
so
look at
go on.
I look at about general websites about cosmetic that it how to produce it and also the sample of at Sephora website because it
Okay,
had very type of cosmetic.
okay. So what specific websites do you look at?
For example, at Sephora website is about like products about cosmetics and it's below it have description about cosmetics and some products has have about information about ingredients.
Okay, that's fine, but you need the names to be able to give them. Okay. All right. If you have the names of the journals, the websites, the groups that you're a part of, they'd be very interested to hear.
Websites. Sephora.
Well, yeah, but give me some names. LinkedIn is a very popular website for this type of information. Are you familiar with LinkedIn?
Oh, yes.
Okay. LinkedIn has a whole bunch of business information. So if you mentioned LinkedIn, that would probably be enough.
Could you write it again? I will
Link,
memorize it.
I thought you said you were familiar with it. LinkedIn.
I just assume that I'm familiar with it.
LinkedIn. Okay.
Okay.
All right. LinkedIn is a website full of jobs and full of information about business. Okay. But also you need to look at newspapers like Financial Times. Maybe The Guardian. Okay. Now, even if you don't really look at these, it's good that you can mention them. Okay. So if you can write those down.
Okay, I wrote it.
Okay. All right. So let's have how do you see yourself contributing to the university community? Now, as I said before, they see themselves as a university community. They don't see themselves as just a university. Do you understand what we mean by community?
I know community, but I don't know contributing.
All right, contributing means that you're going to do something for the community.
Ah, okay, I got it.
Now, one thing is that if you go to university, there's always a lot of groups. All right, there's a lot of what they call clubs.
Oh yes, of course. I'm gonna mention it because I'm thinking about that. Yeah.
So, which clubs are you going to join? Now, it might be difficult to get the information about the exact clubs, but you want to join the business club, you'd like to join the English club. All right.
About about business club, and I'm gonna like have studying session with my friends at university.
Okay. All right. And anything else that you can do for it, just have a think. But going to clubs, I think that would be enough. I think you're going to contribute to clubs. Okay. Clubs, volunteering, bringing diverse perspectives. So volunteering may be doing something for the local community. A lot of universities go and help poor people, that type of thing. Okay. But clubs, I think, would probably be enough. What did you enjoy about your previous studies? I think you covered that already. All right. So what about you? What are your strengths and weaknesses? Be honest, but strategic. So you need to be honest, but you need to try to put yourself forward as being the best possible person you could be for the course. So what about your strengths? What about your strengths, do you think? Give me maybe two strengths that you think.
It's about managing about.
And so you always start with it's about, and it doesn't mean anything in English.
Oh, really?
Uh,
I have managing and planning
So
strength.
my strengths are, my weaknesses are.
Oh, my strengths are planning and managing, and my weaknesses are
So you're planning and managing, give me more detail. Why do you think those are your strengths?
because when I have a lot of work to do, I can like managing it on time, and it will be like steps to do. I can like planning a lot of things together on time.
And what about your weaknesses?
It's about
Not it's about. What
stress.
my weaknesses are.
Oh, and my weaknesses are stress and anxiety, because when sometimes there are a lot of works, I will like feeling stress and anxiety about like, oh, how it's gonna be and what's gonna happen when when I need when I need to present about the presentation. I will like, oh, my professor is gonna like it, something like.
Okay. All right. Let's have a look at another question. All right. So you need to research the university you have chosen thoroughly. Do a lot of research. Okay. Where is Swansea University?
It's Wales City.
So I had a student in yesterday who thought it was in England. Okay, that's a really big problem for the Welsh. They don't like that. Okay. Understand the university's values, programs, what makes it unique. So why is Swansea a unique university? Now, you probably don't know, but if you read their book regarding the course, the introduction will say what they think makes Swansea a very unique university. So look at those details and try to remember them so that if they ask you this type of question, you've got their details in your mind and you can sort of explain what they think makes them a unique university.
Okay.
So you're going to need to get their prospectus to be able to do this. It will be online. You don't need to get it from anywhere, but all the information will definitely be online. So have a look at these questions that I've given you. Practice answering the questions. All right. You've got to do it clearly, confidently. And remember, at the same time, they are going to be thinking about your English. So your English needs to be correct. Okay. So think about your answers, but also think about your English. It's about doesn't really mean anything in English. So you need maybe to review your questions, maybe ask people about how to improve your answers. Yeah. Do some research, think about what you're doing, get the best questions possible. Okay. All right. Now, they may ask you, do you have any questions? And, well, do you? Do you have any questions about the course?
It is necessary to ask them.
Absolutely.
Oh, so to show that
100%.
interested in that university, right?
Right. Okay. Something that you're interested in about the university, something about the course, something about the program. Why? Just to show that you're really interested in it. Okay.
I think I might ask about like course detail about like that subject, like something
Okay, well,
about that
you
subject.
should know the
Mhm.
course details. All right. So
Oh,
you should ask a question. All right. One of the things that maybe you might ask as a foreign student is maybe some programs seem quite similar to you. So you might ask, what are the differences between this program and this program? That's a good question because sometimes they might seem very similar. All right.
you mean like the subject or faculty?
So you may have two subjects, and actually, when you read the description of the subjects, they seem very similar. All right. And if they're very
Ah,
similar, one question is, well, how are they different? You know, what's the main difference between these courses?
okay.
All right. That's a good question to ask because it shows that you're interested. Okay. Now you're going to be on Zoom, but you're going to be going to an interview. They're going to expect you to be dressed smartly. All right. I would probably take your picture off Zoom when you have your interview. Okay, you're in a bikini at the moment, right?
No.
Looks like a bikini or something from your picture. Not sure that's going to be great.
In photo, yes.
Right now, you looks like you're wearing a bikini, so you don't want to be doing that, and you don't want that as your picture on Zoom. Okay. All right.
Okay.
First impressions matter. So first impression, if they see this picture on Zoom before you arrive, you're probably not going to get into the university. Okay. So change your picture, make it look very professional. All right.
Or if I don't put a photo in, it will be okay.
I would recommend putting your photo in because you probably need that, but make it a very professional photo. Make it look good. All right.
Okay.
Maybe
Okay, sorry.
wearing some working clothes. You don't have to apologize because I know right now you're just doing Zoom for Finn College but when you go to the university, you're going to have to take it a little bit more seriously, right? Okay. So you don't want an inappropriate picture. Okay. Now, be yourself. Authenticity is key. So you don't need to try to pretend to be somebody else. You just need to be yourself, confident, and talk about what you want to do and try to use your best English and your best vocabulary. Okay. So in part one of the test, sorry, phase two. Oh no, could be phase two. Yeah. In phase two of the test, they're going to ask you to speak on a topic. All right. So in part one, it's going to be more like interview questions, but in phase two, they're going to ask you to speak on a topic just to hear you speaking. And this could be any topic. For example, a person that you admire, a family member you spend time with, a teacher who influenced you. It could be something about your experiences, some time that you learned something new, some good news that you received. It could be about work or study, a job that you would like to have in the future, a piece of work that you're proud of, training course that you would like to take. It could be about some sort of change that you want to make in your life. Basically, it could be about anything. Okay. Now, this is a very typical topic they might give you. Very, very general. Describe your favorite birthday. Now, how old are you?
21.
So, what's your favorite birthday? What's the most important birthday in Thailand? Is it 16 or 18?
I think it's 18.
18. All right. So usually an important birthday could be like when you're going to vote for the first time or that type of thing. Okay. So maybe you could choose that. Or maybe you've got a birthday that you spent in a different town or a different country or something of that nature. So describe your favorite birthday, why it was your favorite, what happened, and who was there. Now, this is not much to talk about, but you have to speak for 1 to 2 minutes. So that's a big problem with these topics. They give you these topics, and usually students always only talk about these 3 things, but that's not what they want. They're giving you ideas of things to talk about. So think about your own questions, think about your own topics. Yeah. So for example, what? Think about your own questions. We've got a what already. What happened at your birthday? But another question might be, what did you get for your birthday? What present did you get? Maybe you got an iPhone, or maybe you got something that was very nice. Okay. Where did you have your birthday? Was it in a bar? Was it at your home? You can talk about that. Okay. When did you have the birthday? All right. There's no mention of when, so you could talk about when it was, when you were 18, a couple of years ago, 3 years ago. Give details about when it was. Why was your favorite? Yeah, we've got a why already. Who was there? Yeah, we've got a who. Which? Maybe you could talk about which presents that you really liked. Okay. And you could talk about how you enjoyed it. How was it? These types of questions, you can create your own questions. It must be about the topic, and you must speak about the topic for 1 to 2 minutes, but don't just stay with the 1 or 2 things that they've asked you to talk about. So are you clear about what I'm saying here?
Yes.
Okay, don't just stay with what's on the card. That would be very difficult to speak for 1 minute. Okay. All right, you need to prepare, and when you prepare, you need to write down these details. Now, you're going to get 1 minute. You're not going to be able to write a story in 1 minute. Okay. So you don't do that. What you do is you just write some notes. What, why, happy, what, saw a movie, weather was great, old friends. Write down keywords, and these keywords will help you to understand the topic. Okay? These will help you to speak for the whole 2 minutes. Okay? Don't write a story that's going to be too difficult.
Okay.
All right, now I'm going to give you a video, and the video is of a interview, okay? And I want you to just sit back and enjoy it, okay? So I'll send you the video later as well, but I just want you to have a look at this video right now. Okay, so just give me a moment. Okay, just give me just 1 minute, okay? I'm going to change. You've got the materials that they've got right now. I want to change, okay? Just give me a minute. Okay, all right, so I'm going to play a video for you. What I want you to do, I just want you to look at the 2 different parts of the interview and just try to follow what they're saying, okay? Nothing serious.
Good morning.
Just give me a minute. I need to share that with you. Okay, this is kind of an interview that you might get. This might be an example of an interview. Off you go.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Phil Smith. Can you tell me your full name, please?
Can you see it and hear it okay?
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay, off you go.
My name is Sausan Hassan.
Thank you. And can you tell me where you're from?
I'm from Syria.
Can I see your identification,
Yes,
please?
sure.
Thank you, that's fine. Now, in this first part, I'd like to ask you some questions about yourself. Let's talk about what you do. Do you work or are you a student?
I'm a student.
And what subject are you studying?
English literature.
Why did you choose this subject?
Well, I like literature very much, and English is international language, so English literature is one of the best majors I've ever studied, so I like it very much.
What do you hope to do when you finish your studies?
Well, I'm planning to complete my higher studies. I'll be doing an MA, and eventually I'll be doing a PhD to be a professor in English literature.
Now let's talk about weekends. What do you usually do at the weekend?
Well, usually I go to visit my relatives or even friends, but sometimes I stayed at home just for if I have exams or something to study, so I just stay at home. But most of my time, actually, I spend it with my friends, going out for to drink something or to have fun, enjoy it.
What do you think you'll do next weekend?
Well, next weekend I have to go to a trip to York, and I'm so excited about it. Yeah.
Why?
Well, because I've heard that York, it's a very ancient city, so, and the Vikings were there, and I like the ancient things and I like history.
Do you enjoy your weekends now more than you did when you were a child?
Well, not really. When I was a child, I just spent all my weekends playing, but now I have lots of concerns. Sometimes I have to stay at home to study, so no, when I was a child, I enjoyed most.
How important is it for you to relax at the end of the week?
Well, it is very important because you just relax out of the whole week because you were studying or working. So you need peace and relax and sometimes to take a great time of sleeping just to prepare yourself for the next week.
Let's talk about music. What sort of music do you usually enjoy listening to?
Well, I like music very much because I'm a singer myself. I like to sing, so I have a great taste of music. I like the classical, I like the Arabic music, and so music is very important. I have to listen to music all the day.
Has the kind of music you like changed over the years?
Well, yes, it changed because I used to listen to the almost I mean it's slow music, and nowadays it's just in the very fast and sometimes techno, and I don't like this kind of music. I still listen to the music that I liked. And I still have the same CDs, and all the time I listen. I sometimes listen to this music, the new music, but I don't like it. I just like to listen to the music that I liked when I was a child.
Do you prefer listening to live music or recorded music?
Well, recorded. I don't like live music because
Why?
I feel always the singer is not good in live music, so I feel that recorded is better.
Do you think listening to music helps you study?
Yes, I always listen to music when I'm studying. Sometimes my friends make fun of me because I'm not concentrating, but actually it makes me more concentrated.
Thank you. Now, I'm going to give you a topic, and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. Before you talk, you'll have 1 minute to think about what you're going to say. You can make notes if you wish. Do you understand?
Yes.
Here's some paper and a pencil for making notes. And here's your topic. And I'd like you to describe a special gift or present you gave to someone. All right. Remember, you have 1 to 2 minutes for this, so don't worry if I stop you. I'll tell you when the time is up. Can you start speaking now, please?
Okay. The special gift actually I gave to my mother, and it was a necklace in the Mother Day. And actually I've been to different shops to search for what am I going to give my mother, because giving her anything is just, you feel it, it's very simple. But I looked for different shops, and I then decided to take a very lovely necklace, and it wasn't that much expensive because I was I had the money for it. So, and I asked the salesman to wrap it for me in a very colored papers, and I just tried to put the red tie in it, and then I hide it in my. I didn't tell her about it till the party, because we usually make a party for my mother in the Mother Day, so I didn't tell her about it till at the party. And when I gave it to her, she was really happy very much, and she was almost in tears because she really liked it. And she told me, no matter how simple it is, since you think about giving me anything, so that's really great. So I was really happy for really giving her this present, and she's wearing it every time when she goes out, or and she always tell her friends about it. Look what she brought, what my daughter brought to me in the Mother Day. So I really was proud and happy that she really liked it. And so every time I see it, she really she's really proud of it. And
Do you enjoy giving gifts?
yes, I really enjoy. I like even to take gifts, but I like, yeah, I enjoy giving gifts to my friends or to the members of my family, because it shows that you are thinking of them and you really care for them.
Thank you. Can I?
Okay. That's an example of a interview. Okay, the got more of a focus on English in that interview, but that's the sort of thing that they're going to ask you to do. How do you feel about that?
It's quite good.
Yeah, I think you should be able to manage it with a bit of practice. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, normally we take a break around now. How long do you want to take a break? 10 minutes?
Okay.
All right, take a 10-minute break. When you come back, we're going to practice what you've just seen, what you just heard from me, and what you've just seen. We're going to practice part 1 and part 2 of the interview. And let's see how you do. Then we'll also look at some listening too. Okay?
Okay.
All right, good. I'll see you in 10 minutes then.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So, Kitty, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, good. All right, so we're going to practice some of the things that we talked about. Now, you were sent a document earlier this morning. You've just been sent another document, which is part 1. So we're going to use part 1. You don't really need it right now. Okay, but I just want to know, did you get the document part 1? Did you receive it?
Yes.
You did. Okay. All right, so I'm going to give me a minute. All right, so we're going to practice some of the interview things that we just talked about. First of all, I'm going to give you an interview, some example questions from phase 1 and phase 2. Keep in mind that in the university, they're going to ask you more about your university course. I'm not going to include those questions because you're going to need to do some research on those. But in the real university test, they're going to expect you to want to have some information about the course, about the university, that type of thing. Okay. All right. So I'm going to ask you some questions about work and study. Do you work or do you study? Kitty,
Now,
do you
I am study.
study?
Yes.
Do you enjoy studying?
Yes, of course. Because of good society and good professor.
What do you mean by good society?
It's about friends and environment about my place that I
So
study.
that's more community, not
Oh,
society.
yes.
It's a good community. Okay. All right. What do you like most about studying?
I like about when professor explain me about the context about that subject and it's understandable.
Okay. So what sort of job would you like to do in the future?
In the future I want to be a business woman, opening my own company and be a leader of that business.
Well, you said you want to be a flight attendant first, right?
Oh, yes.
Which airlines are you thinking of joining?
I think it's Emirates.
Emirates.
Yes.
That's quite interesting. I teach a lot of people who want to be flight attendants. I teach a lot of students who want to be flight attendants.
Oh, really?
Yes, yes. Okay. All right. Let's talk about your hometown. Where were you born?
I was born at Yanhee Hospital, which is at Bangkok.
In Bangkok.
In Bangkok, yes.
And did you grow up in Bangkok?
No, I grew up at Nonthaburi. I'm a Nonthaburian girl.
In Nonthaburi.
Yes,
You grew up in Nonthaburi.
I grew up in Nonthaburi.
So what type of place is Nonthaburi? Tell me about your hometown. Describe it for me.
My hometown have a lot of villages and people to live in. Also, a garden and department stores.
Well, think about what you're saying. My hometown have. Is that right?
Has
Has people to live in. Has a lot of people to live in. A lot of people live there? A lot of people live there.
A lot of people live there.
Okay. Can you describe it some more?
Not only department stores, a lot of department store, but also gardens to walk with pets. Yeah, and exercise. Yes.
Okay. What's the most interesting thing about your hometown? What are you interested the most about?
I think it is department store such as like Central Westview is there are a lot of interesting shop to shopping there to buy products.
All right, let's talk about your hobbies and interests. Do you have a lot of free time?
Yes, of course, because uh I some month is closed. My school is closed, so I have a lot of free time to do something.
So what do you do in your free time?
I always listening to music because I enjoying it as it make me feel relaxed.
Okay, so that might be the right answer, but keep in mind that you're talking to the university, all right? So they'd be interested in you reading journals, they'd be interested in you trying to do business, they'd be interested in you doing something that would be relevant to their course, okay?
Okay.
How many hours a week do you spend on your hobbies and interests?
Uh, it's about like 3 hours per day.
3 hours a day on your
A
hobby?
day.
Really?
2 hours a day.
That's a lot of time to spend on your hobby. So you listen to music for 3 hours a day?
Oh yes, of course. I love it.
Wow, that's okay. That's quite a lot. All right. All right. Is there anything you're interested in doing in your free time that you don't do now?
I think I want to do Pilates because it's interesting activity, but I'm scared about like gymnastic to do the Pilates.
All right. Let's talk about your family right now. Do you have a large family or a small family?
Oh well, my family is so small. There are only 3 people in my family, mom, dad, and me. Only that.
So what are the benefits of living in a small family?
I think it is not uh not messy because there are a small group of people, so we don't have like big problem about messy thing.
Okay. What do your parents do?
You mean my parents' occupation?
Yes.
Uh, uh, they are medical technologists.
Okay. So what do they do? That's the name of their job. What do they do?
Such as blood injection, uh, analyze CBC lab test.
Who is your favorite family member and why?
My favorite family member is my mom because she is so patient and kind. She always like solve my problem and listen me to all my problem that happen in my life. Yes.
Okay, the last topic. Let's talk about your country. Which country do you come from?
I come from Thailand, which is a tropical country, and there are a lot of yummy food at Thailand to try.
Which places, okay, what's your favorite place in your country?
I would say about Phuket because there there are
about
a lot of beautiful beaches.
Not about, we don't need
Huh?
to say, I would say Phuket. I would say Phuket, you don't need to say about. What's your favorite place? I
Oh,
would
okay. I would say Phuket because there are a lot of beaches at there are a lot of beautiful beaches at Phuket,
in Phuket.
and a lot of foreigners travel to visit there.
Which places would you recommend a foreigner visit?
I would say not only north but also south. If you like to go to mountain, I would say north. But if you like to go to the beach, I would say south.
What's the weather like in your country?
Oh, of course, Thailand is a tropical country, so it's very hot. And sometimes it's rainy and wet. Yes.
Okay, all right. So we're going to look at part 2, phase 2 of the test.
Okay.
And this is the topic that I'm going to give you. I want you to speak on. Describe where you currently live. So you currently live in Bangkok. You should say where it's located. So it's in Thailand. Where is it? Central Thailand. Explain where it is, what the area is well known for. What is it well known for, Thailand? Yeah. Sorry, Bangkok. Why is it famous around the world, Bangkok? Oh, you're from Nonthaburi, yeah? Why is it famous, Nonthaburi? Why do people know it?
Can I tell the examiner that I come from Bangkok because there are
Yeah.
many interesting answer to answer them.
Okay, so yeah, if that makes it easier for you, tell them
Oh,
you're
yes.
from Bangkok, but don't forget where you're from, okay?
Okay.
What you like doing in the area, and explain what the advantages and disadvantages there are for people living in the area. So you have 5 things to talk about. Okay. And if you must talk about them all. If you don't talk about them all, then it's going to be a problem for you. Okay. So, 1, where it's located. 2, the area is well known for. What you like doing there. What are the advantages of living in Bangkok? What are the disadvantages of living in Bangkok? Okay. I've got some possible sentences that you might be able to use. I'm a city, country, village person. I'm a city person, so I prefer to live in Bangkok. If I had to choose between living here and Chiang Mai or another city, I'd choose Bangkok because I was born and brought up here. So what does that mean? If you were born in a city and you were brought up there, that means you did your education there, you lived there until you were quite old. Location, it's in northern, eastern, southern, northeastern Thailand, Bangkok. Okay, so it sits in the town, it sits in the city center. Okay, so we could say Bangkok sits in the center of Thailand. Rural, residential, industrial, Rural means it's city. Residential means a lot of people live there. Industrial means there are a lot of factories there. Peaceful, very quiet. Busy, lively. Busy, lively, there's a lot of energy. It's crowded. It's a picturesque area. What does picturesque mean?
I don't know.
So, for example, if it's a picturesque area, then you want to take photos of it. Maybe you want to paint a picture of it because it's so beautiful. Okay, that's what it means. It's really extremely, particularly interesting place to live because it's boring. It's not particularly interesting place to live because. So I'm not saying you must use these sentences. What I'm saying is these are ideas that you might use when you are speaking. Now, remember, you need to speak for the whole 2 minutes. Okay, and I'm going to give you more than 1 minute to prepare. I'll give you about 90 seconds, maybe a little bit longer to prepare. Do you have a piece of paper available?
I have my iPad notes.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to give you 1.5 minutes because you're practicing right now. So you're going to get 1.5 minutes to prepare, and that will start right now. Go ahead. Okay, so that's 2 minutes, sorry, 1.5 minutes. So I want you to speak on this topic for 1 to 2 minutes, and you can begin right now. Go ahead.
There are a lot of people that live in many places or provinces at Thailand. However, I am a city person that live in Bangkok, which is in the middle of Thailand, and it's also a capital city of Thailand. At Bangkok, there are a various range of shopping mall, such as Siam Paragon or like Siam Center, which is located at in the city of Bangkok. Not only the shopping mall, but also condominium and single house. There are a lot of condominium because it's in the city center, so a lot of building is be a company building, so it have like small space to construct the house, but if it's a house, it will be like single house. And I like to shopping there because There are a lot of shopping mall, and these shopping mall are luxury, and there are a lot of product to sell to sell people in this city. Not only shopping, but also eat dinner with my family, such as like BBQ Plaza. And the reason why that I love to eat BBQ with my family because it's enjoyable and it makes my family to like more close together. And at that restaurant, it have a lot of seafood, pork, and chicken to grill. And the waiter or waitress is super friendly. And advantage of living in Bangkok is, of course, convenient. The most obvious thing, because there are BTS and MRT, which call SkyTrain, and lots of good restaurants to try. Good building scenery because of company building. And the disadvantage is about like crowded because of course it is in a city, so a lot of people live there. The second thing is traffic congestion because at Thailand there
Finish.
okay.
And you didn't complete all the topic.
Yes.
Okay, so you definitely need a little bit of practice with this. Okay. All right, so
Okay.
give me a minute. All right, we're going to look at some of the mistakes that you made when you were speaking. Now, you spoke quite well, but these were the mistakes that you made. So you're talking about at Thailand. Everything is at Thailand. Why? At Thailand, at Bangkok. What should it be?
In.
Okay. It's also capital city of Thailand. What's the
It is
mistake?
like it's in the middle of Thailand and it's also the capital city of Thailand.
No, what's the mistake that you made here?
Ah,
Again?
ah,
No,
no. The
there's only one capital, so we have to put the capital of Thailand. Not only the shopping mall, but the house.
but also
There's only one shopping mall in Bangkok. Yeah,
no.
only one house in Bangkok.
No.
So what should it be?
Not only shopping mall but also houses. Right?
Okay. It be a company building. Now, not quite really clear what you were talking about. It be a company building. But what is it, should it be? It not be. What was it?
Is.
Single house. That's not English, that's Thai.
Oh, really?
What is it in English?
I don't know. Sorry.
And you've got to put an article in, a or the. A when it's one of many, the when it's only one. No, it's not it. It should be I. I like to shopping there. could it be?
I like shopping there.
There is product to sell to people. There is product to sell to people. Product, how many?
A lot.
Okay, so there are a lot of products to sell to people. It have a lot of chicken.
It has. There are a lot of chicken.
Nope. There is a lot of chicken. Chicken is uncountable, so we can't count it. The disadvantage is about traffic. Now, I said this about doesn't mean anything. So
Is traffic jam.
is the traffic. Disadvantage is the traffic. Okay. So you speak very well, but you make quite a lot of mistakes. Okay. And you need to work on that. Now, I don't want you to worry about it, but you need to improve, not just for this test, but for generally, right? For when you go to university. They're very simple mistakes, and I've shown you these mistakes, and most of these mistakes, you know what the mistake is, right?
Yes, but I was excited.
But you say it wrong when you're excited, so you need a lot of practice and you need a lot of correction. You need somebody to listen to you when you're practicing and tell you, don't say it like that, say it like this, okay?
Okay.
That way, if you do it a lot of times, when you get the questions in the interview, you're not going to be excited, you're going to be confident, and you're not going to make the mistakes, okay? Do you understand what I mean?
Yes.
I'm not worried by these mistakes because I think you do know what the English is. But because if you've done this for the first time, you're making lots of mistakes because you're not really thinking about what you're doing. You're just trying to do this for the first time. If you do this practice 10, 15, 20 times, at the end of 20 times, you're going to be bored, right? You've done it 20 times, so you have a lot of experience. And if you have to do it in the speaking test for the university, then you're not going to be excited because you've done it before so many times. It's boring. All right. And if it's boring, you're not going to get anxious. You're not going to get nervous. Okay. So I'm going to send you these by chat if you want to pick them up. Okay. Yeah. Now, I don't want you to worry about these mistakes. As you've said, these mistakes are because you are nervous. But can you understand why these mistakes would be a problem?
Yes.
I'm not saying they are a serious problem, and I'm not saying they're going to stop you from going to university, but you're going to improve. You need to improve. And when I say you need to improve, I mean you need to improve your anxiety. You need to improve your nervousness. Okay? You don't need to be so anxious. You don't need to be nervous about it. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Okay, let's continue now. Okay, now I've got a topic here which let me just give me a minute, get it on screen for you. So that topic was quite easy, right? Talking about where you live, but some topics might be more difficult. So what I have here is an example of a more difficult topic. I want you to have a look at it. Okay. Can you read it for me?
describe something old that you or your family own and that you feel is important, you should say what the item is and what it looks like, where it came from, what it is or what used for, and explain why you feel the item.
Your microphone's switched off for some reason.
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay. So this is not an easy topic, right? Yeah. Talk about where you live. That's very straightforward, but this is more complicated. Okay. All right. So what can you talk about? Well, it might be a bit confusing right now. So I'm going to give you somebody else's ideas on what to talk about. Okay. So have a look at these plans. Look at the plan on the right. This is a plan that somebody has produced. Okay, and they've just written down some words here. And they're going to use these words to help them to speak for 2 minutes. Okay. So first of all, let's go through these words. I think you know what a necklace is.
Yes.
What is an inheritance?
It's about genetics? No.
Again?
It's about genetics? No or not?
No.
Yes
If
or
you
no?
An inheritance is what you get when somebody dies. So for example, when your parents
Oh.
die, because there's only you, you're probably going to get your house, right? That's an inheritance. Your house will be an inheritance. Okay. So you clear about that word?
Yes.
Attic. Where's the attic in your house?
I don't know.
So this
What
is,
it means?
again,
What does that mean?
so this is your house. Okay. This is your roof. And inside the roof, there is space. And that space is called your attic. Okay. Do you have an attic in your house?
No.
Okay. Well, in the UK, every house has an attic. It's room that you put things that you don't need. Market, India, ancient, antique. Does that mean it's old or new?
Oh,
Okay. Blue beads, chipped. What does chipped mean?
I don't know.
Okay, so if it's chipped, they're old, somebody's been using them, then just give me a minute. Okay. Okay, have a look at this picture that I'm going to put here. Okay. Good. Let's get rid of that for a minute. You see this picture?
Yes.
What's the problem with this cup?
It's broke a little bit.
It's not broken, it's chipped.
Ah,
Okay. It's not broken, it's chipped. Okay. And this person's beads. Right. Okay, just give me a minute. Okay, there we go. That person's beads were chipped. I know you know what beads are because you are a girl. Unfashionable. So, would you wear it if it's unfashionable?
I know that word.
Would you wear it? Unfashionable.
Old t-shirt, for example.
Okay, so if it's fashionable, that means people use it right now. People wear them. But if it's unfashionable, it means maybe it looks a bit old and people don't wear it anymore. If something is eye-catching, then you look at it. If it's not eye-catching, then you're not interested in it. And family treasure. People call family treasure things that are important to their family, that they give to each other. Okay, now you're going to listen to somebody else doing this topic. Okay, and we've got a number of strategies here. So a strategy is maybe another word for a plan. Okay, so she's got different plans for different parts of the talk. So for example, she's going to start by giving a very full introduction. Okay, now most people just begin to talk about the topic, but she's going to give a very long introduction about how she feels about this item. Before you start speaking, okay, you have a number of things to talk about on the card. You've got one item where it's what the item is, what it looks like, where it come from, what it was used for, why the item is important. So you have plenty of things to talk about. You don't need to talk about them in that order. You can choose the one thing that you think is the most, that you have the most to talk about. Okay. Speculates on the origins of the necklace. So if you speculate, then this is your idea. What do you think? And the origin is where something comes from. So she's going to guess where this necklace came from. She doesn't know, but she's going to talk about it anyway. Now, sometimes if you can think of a saying or a quote, maybe your mum says something every time that you speak to her. That's a little bit difficult, but let's see how the person manages it on the recording. Say what the item is not. It is not beautiful. It is not useful. Why? Because it will give you more to say. Compare it to other things that you've got. Now, for example, if you're talking about these beads, maybe you can compare it to a gold necklace that you have. Which is most beautiful? Which is most important to you? And you can make some sort of concession at the end. For example, she says she doesn't really like beads, but she will always keep them. Okay. Now, I'm going to play a recording of somebody talking about this topic. Okay. And what I want you to do, I want you to listen carefully, and I want you to add the vocabulary that's missing from each item. Okay. Are you clear?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to share it with you and share that. Sound is shared. That's good. Okay. All right. Here we go. We're going to listen to a recording. Now, don't worry. It's very fast, but you should be able to do it. And yeah, you should be able to write down what's missing here. And I'm going to play it 2 times for you anyway. So if you don't get it the first time, don't worry. Okay? All right. Here we
Unit 5. Speaking. Exercises 2 and 3.
Actually, there are a number of objects that I could talk about in my home, so it's quite hard for me to decide what to choose. However, I'm going to talk about a very special necklace that I keep in my attic. First, I think I'll tell you where it came from. Basically, it was an inheritance from my grandmother, who was 95 years old when she died. As far as I know, she'd been given it by someone, possibly an aunt, who'd bought it in a market in India. It's a pity I didn't ask my grandmother. I'd know its origins for certain if I'd asked her. Anyway, undoubtedly it's pretty ancient now, probably an antique, although I've no idea what it's worth. But, as my mother says, you can't put a price on something that has sentimental value. If I were to lose it, I'd be really upset. Just looking at it, I don't think you get an idea of its age. You wouldn't realize how old it was unless you examined it closely. I wouldn't say that it's strikingly beautiful or something you'd choose to put on to go out for the evening. It's just a long line of blue beads that are quite chipped and faded now. They look pretty worthless, not as eye-catching as the gold necklace that I got for my 21st birthday. Actually, I don't use the beads for anything because, as I said earlier, I don't wear them. They're not at all fashionable. In fact, I don't really like beads, but having said that, I'll always keep them. If I were to throw the beads out, I wouldn't be able to forgive myself. I'll pass them on to my children so that they become an equally important family treasure for them. It's funny to think, but if it hadn't been for my granny's aunt, I wouldn't have inherited that necklace.
Okay. So she's speaking quickly. She has a lot to say. Why? She's got a good plan. She's got a good strategy for this. Okay. So, number one, we know, actually, there are a number of objects that I could talk about. What did she say for number two? First of all, I think I'll,
Tell you.
again,
Tell you.
tell you. Okay, good. First of all, I'll tell you where it came from. What about number three?
As far as.
Okay, good. You know. What about number four?
Mother.
My mother. As far as my mother says, as my mother says, what about number five?
Eye-catching. Oh, wouldn't say, sorry. That's one number six, but number five is wouldn't say.
Wouldn't say, and it's strikingly beautiful. What about number six?
Having said. Oh, number six is eye-catching.
Eye-catching. Okay, what's eye-catching as the gold necklace that I got for my 21st birthday. I don't really like beads, but what did she say
Having
again?
said. Having said.
Having said, good. Okay, so your listening's pretty good then. That's good. Okay. So having said that, I'll always keep them. Now, so let's listen to it again. And she gives a full introduction. And what I want you to do, use your mobile phone. I'll stop when her introduction is finished. And what I want you to do is to tell me how long her introduction is. Okay? Okay, here we go again now. Come on, don't be shy.
Unit 5. Speaking. Exercises 2 and 3.
So our introduction starts now. How long is it?
Actually, there are a number of objects that I could talk about in my home, so it's quite hard for me to decide what to choose. However, I'm going to talk about a very special necklace that I keep in my attic. First, I think I'll tell you where it came from. Basically, it was an inheritance from my grandmother, who was 95 years old when she died. As far as
Okay, so how long was that introduction?
What do you mean, like the time?
Yeah,
I need to use my clock to
listen to
Unit 5.
set.
Speaking. Exercises 2 and 3.
Actually, there are a number of objects that I could talk about in my home, so it's quite hard for me to decide what to choose. However, I'm going to talk about a very special necklace that I keep in my attic. First, I think I'll tell you where it came from.
Okay, so how long is that introduction?
I don't understand. What do you want me to do?
I said, get your mobile phone. I want you to time how long her introduction is, but never mind. Her introduction was 20 seconds.
Ah, okay.
Okay. Let's listen to what she says next.
Basically, it was an inheritance from my grandmother, who was 95 years old when she died.
Okay. And so what does she need to say? Where it came from, that's what she's talking about. Okay. So she's not talking about them in order. She's starting with where it came from. Okay. Now, we're not going to go through the whole recording, but the point is she gave a introduction that was 20 seconds. And you have to speak for 180 seconds. She's giving lots of detail about each thing, and that's helping her to speak for the whole 2 minutes. Okay. So I want you to talk about this topic now. Okay. And given everything that you've just learned about the strategy, about how to do it, I want you to think about it. Now, you don't have to use every strategy, but if you think it's something that you can use, go ahead. Okay. Now, because this is a little bit more difficult, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to prepare, and then I want you to speak on this topic for 2 minutes. Okay. Do you understand my instructions?
You want me to speak?
I want you to talk about this topic,
Uh-huh.
and I want you to use these strategies, give a full introduction, think about what's the best thing to talk about, speculate about where what you're talking about came from. Any of these are useful for you, I want you to go ahead and copy them. If they're not useful, don't worry, but I want you to try to speak on this topic for the whole 2 minutes. Okay.
Could you give me example?
Well, you've just had an example. You just listened to an example.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. You just listened to somebody speaking. Would you like to listen to it again?
No.
Okay.
I
So
don't understand. What do you want me to do?
can you read this topic?
Where?
Can you read it for me?
Describe something old that you and your family own and that you feel is important. You should say what the item is and what it looks like, where it came from, what it is or what used for, and explain why you feel the item is important.
Okay, that's what I want you to talk about. 2 minutes. I want you to use, if you think these phrases are going to be useful for you, then go ahead, copy them. Okay.
Okay.
If you don't think they're useful for you, don't copy them. But I do want you to look at these strategies, okay? Because it's going to help you to speak for the whole 2 minutes. Yeah. Give a full introduction. Think about what you can talk the most about first. Speculate on where the item that you talked about came from. But if you know, you don't need to speculate. Okay. Now, if you think these strategies are helpful, use them. If you don't think they're helpful, don't use them. It's not a problem. But I do want you to speak for 2 minutes. Do you understand now?
Yes.
I'm going to give you 2 minutes to prepare because this is quite a difficult topic. And then I want you to speak for 2 minutes. So you've got 2 minutes starting now. Go ahead. Okay, so you have 2 minutes. I want you to speak for 2 minutes on this topic, and I want you to begin now. Now, I know it's difficult, so don't worry if it doesn't go really, really well, but let's see what you can do. Go ahead.
Actually, there are a number of objects that I could talk about. First, I think I will tell you where it came from.
Okay, hang on. What are you going to talk about? There are a number of objects that I could talk about. That means you need to tell me what object you're going to talk about.
Oh, okay.
All right, start again.
Actually, there are a number of objects that I could talk about. Evil Eyes necklace. First, I think I will tell you where it came from. Actually, it came from my grandmother that gave me a long time ago, which is sincerely she gave me because she loved me and she didn't want me to meet bad people and bad intention to me. And it looks like blue eyes in a chain of necklace. It used to dispose evil eye energy, such as jealous people, and it protects me from bad energy from someone. It's about belief and or trust, and I have good intention and comfortable in my feeling to wear it because it protects me from bad energy. And actually now they're still selling. They also that some people still selling it because like it's good for our people energy, and it have real one which is pricey and fake one which is like cheap. proper, but the fake one is bad because it cannot protect me from anything. But actually it's unfashionable because it and because it's not eye-catching. Uh, oh yes. I don't know.
Okay, well, let's see how far that you've got. Okay, so you nearly spoke for 2 minutes. That's pretty good. Okay. Can you see how you need practice on this, though, to make it really as good as possible?
Yes.
The more practice you get, the easier it's going to be. Okay, so you need to try to find an opportunity for practice. Okay. All right, we've still got 30 minutes left. So that's weird. Just give me a minute. I think I made a mistake with your materials. Okay, just give me a minute. Okay. So there's a bit of a problem with the materials I've sent you. Going to have to send you another set of materials. Okay, so just give me 1 minute. All right, just give me a second. All right, I'm going to send this to you by chat. I'd like you to tell me if you've received it. Okay. Okay. Did you get it?
No.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Have a look in your chat. It should be there soon. Okay. You should have received it now.
Okay.
Got it?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to give you an example of the listening test that you might have. Okay. And okay. So okay.
Let me download it.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
All right. So first of all, let's look at exercise 1. Can you just read it for me?
You will hear Debbie Green giving junior nurses an introduction to working at a hospital. Look at each question and predict possible synonyms and antonyms you might hear on the recording. What if Debbie talks about each item listed as a possible answer. How will you know what the answer is? Think of possible phrases Debbie will use to indicate the answer. First, underline the key ideas in the questions, listen to the recording, and choose the correct answers.
Okay, all right, so you're going to listen to Debbie, and Debbie is talking about working at a hospital. Okay, now, synonyms and antonyms, do you know what that means?
Synonym is a different word but same meaning, and antonym, I don't know.
Antonym is the opposite. Okay. So a synonym for nice could be good, but an antonym would be terrible, bad. Now, why do you need to predict possible synonyms and antonyms for a listening test? The reason is that the words that they use here, these are the examples they give you. Maybe these are not the words that you're going to hear on the recording. So as a result, you have to think in advance, what words will I hear on the recording? So let's look at the questions. Okay, we're only going to do exercise 1 today. I'll send exercise 2 to you so you can try it at home. This is the question. According to Debbie, why do some people fail to eat a balanced diet? So what does balanced diet mean? It means that you don't just eat carbohydrate, you eat protein, you eat vitamins, you eat minerals, you eat everything that your body needs. That is a balanced diet. Do you eat a balanced diet?
Yes.
You do. Yeah, not
Yes.
KFC all day, right?
No.
Okay, well, that's good. So why Debbie is talking to the nurses, and she explains why some people do not, they fail to eat a balanced diet. Here are some reasons why they don't know how to cook. Now, that's the answer, but this is maybe what you will hear on the recording. People never learn to cook. They don't know how to cook. Their parents didn't tell them how to cook. There could be a number of phrases that you will hear that mean the same as they don't know how to cook. They don't have enough time to cook. Well, why do they don't have enough time? Maybe because they're too busy. So if it says they are too busy on the recording, then that will mean they don't have time to cook. They don't feel hungry enough to cook because they're not hungry. They aren't hungry. Okay. So do you understand what we're looking at here? This is what is in the test question. And this is an example of something you might hear on the recording. Okay. So let's go through each one. Debbie recommends that staff should keep fit by what? Using the gym. Okay, so what's she going to say? Go to the gym. Maybe she's going to say, you should go to the gym. And that means using the gym. Taking up a new sport. Maybe she tells the nurses to start a new sport. Changing daily activities. Do different things every day. Okay, now what activities she talks about, not sure. Which benefit of exercise does Debbie think is the most important? It helps you sleep. So maybe on the recording, she will say, you can sleep better if you exercise. It keeps your heart healthy. It gives you a strong heart. Maybe that's what she's going to say on the recording. It improves your mental skills. It helps you to think. So these are the phrases, and these are possible alternatives to the phrases that you're going to hear on the recording. I want you to listen and decide which is the correct answer to these questions. Okay. What advice does Debbie give nurses about health and safety? Avoid drinking coffee. Don't drink coffee. You shouldn't drink coffee. Maybe that's what she's going to say on the recording. Use the canteen at night. Eat at the hospital. You know what a canteen is?
Yes.
Oh.
Cafeteria.
Cafeteria. Good. Take regular breaks. Take a break every hour. Don't work all the time. Take a break sometime. That's what she might say on the recording. She talks about hygiene. What is hygiene?
Clean.
And if it's hygienic, then it's clean. So she's talking about hygiene. And she tells the nurses to wash their hands regularly. Maybe on the recording, she's going to say, always wash your hands. Keep away from germs. Stay away from germs. Help with the cleaning. So she may say, for example, help to clean the living area. Okay. So I'm going to play the recording. These are the questions. All right, I'm going to highlight the questions for you. I want you to listen. There are 5 questions and 3 answers, 3 possible answers for each. I want you to choose which is the right answer, A, B, or C. Do you understand what to do?
Yes.
Then I'm going to do it for you. Okay, here we go.
Track 5. Unit 2. Listening. Exercise 3.
Good afternoon.
Can you hear it okay?
Yes.
Here we go.
My name's Debbie Green, and I'm going to give you a short but hopefully interesting introduction to working at this hospital. I'll start with some guidelines about nutrition and fitness, because a hospital environment can be stressful, and so we always encourage our staff to stay fit and have a healthy lifestyle. So, just a few tips first. As you know, the key to good health is eating what we call a balanced diet. Many people don't do this, however. For one thing, they don't eat enough fruit and vegetables or home-prepared food. When you feel hungry, it's often too easy to grab something quick because you're tired or busy. Cooking a healthy meal takes longer, and this is often why people live on sandwiches and fast food instead. Please don't fall into this unhealthy trap. Of course, you have to do a little exercise and keep fit as well. I know you'll have a lot of work and may not have time to join a gym, but consider how often you take the lift rather than the stairs, or how often you drive rather than walk. Health-wise, it may just be a question of doing things differently, rather than starting a very active sport. In fact, being generally active is much healthier than doing lots of exercise just occasionally. As you know, this can be as risky for your heart as being inactive. As long as you do at least an hour's exercise a day, and some of you will do more than that at work, you'll find that you don't lie awake at night worrying about the next day. And that's the main advantage of exercise. Remember, this is a hospital, and you are supposed to be the healthiest people here. Moving on to health and safety, I want to point out that it's quite okay to take a break any time that you're not busy. We know that when there's an emergency, you may have to miss that cup of tea or coffee in the canteen or wherever you go. But generally you shouldn't work for more than 3 hours without a break. Otherwise, your attention levels will drop, and you could then make a careless mistake. Another important issue is hygiene. You're all trained to clean your hands at work, but remember that germs can live for a long time. So please make sure that you don't leave even a small amount of rubbish around. There are brooms in the cupboards, so use them. We do have cleaners, but they aren't always here when you need them, I'm afraid, and a little dirt can soon build up.
Okay. Do you think you have the answers, or do you want to listen to it again?
I have the answer.
Again, sorry?
I have the answers.
Okay. All right, good. So what's the answer to number one?
B.
Okay, they're too busy. Good. And what's the answer to number two?
C.
Good. No problems there. Number three?
B.
B, was it B?
Yes.
Tired or busy. Cooking a healthy meal takes longer, and this is often why people live on sandwiches and fast food instead.
Okay, all right. B it was, yeah, just check. What advice does Debbie give nurses about health and safety?
C.
Take regular breaks, correct? And what about when she talks about hygiene? Debbie asks the nurses to?
A.
No, she didn't ask them to do that. Let's listen to it again, see if you can catch it.
Track 5. Unit 2. Listening. Exercise 3.
Emergency, you may have to miss that cup of tea or coffee in the canteen or wherever you go, but generally you shouldn't work for more than 3 hours without a break. Otherwise, your attention levels will drop, and you could then make a careless mistake. Another important issue is hygiene. You're all trained to clean your hands at work, but remember that germs can live for a long time. So please make sure that you don't leave even a small amount of rubbish around. There are brooms in the cupboards, so use them.
So what did she talk about?
B.
C, she said help with the cleaning, use the brooms. Okay,
Okay.
okay, so that's pretty good. That's not bad. Okay. All right, so we've still got time here. All right, let's see what you can do with this. Now, you're going to listen to a recording, and what you're going to do is, these are phrases that you might hear on the recording. Okay, next to traffic lights, straight on. You're going to listen to her talking about this map. And what I want you to do is to listen to what she says, and I want you to mark where each item is. So where's the recreation center? Is it A? Is it B? Is it C? Is it D? Same for the health center. Okay. Now, she's going to start at the main building. So all the description and directions that she gives is from there. Okay. So let's see how you do with this. Let's go.
Track 6. Unit 2. Listening. Exercise 5.
Now, as you're all new, I'm just going to show you a map of the hospital and point out a few key places. Let's start with the recreation centre. At the moment, we're in the main building, that's here, and if you go out of the main entrance and just along the main road to the east, you'll find the Staff Recreation Centre. It's this T-shaped building, and there's a range of things that you can do here to help you relax. If you get ill, we do have a health centre for all registered employees, and this is directly behind the main hospital building. So if you go out of the back exit, it's just in front of you, and there's a small pharmacy next to it. I'm based here, and I have a few leaflets on things if you want to come and see me. Many of you will be doing shift work, so you might like to go to the 24-hour swimming pool and sauna. They're very close by, and it doesn't cost much money to get in. If you walk out of the front of the main building, there's a road straight ahead of you. Go down that and turn left into Thai Road. You'll see the pool entrance at the end of that road, just beyond the line of trees. We've talked about eating healthily, and there's a very useful store nearby that sells a large range of organic products and health food supplements. This is also in front of the main building, but this time you need to go beyond the turning for Thai Road, and you'll see it on the right-hand corner, directly opposite another building. Finally, if you want a healthy meal and you have very little time to get it, of course there's always the canteen inside the main building, but I would recommend a place called Jenny's Restaurant. Leave the front of the main building and head for the roundabout. When you're there, take the second turning on the left. It's just along that road before the trees. You can get a number of excellent dishes here at a reasonable price. Well, I think that's all that's really useful.
Okay, just have a look at your answers, and then we'll check them together. Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, so where's the recreation center?
C.
Okay, just give me a minute. I've just got to answer this. Recreation center. Okay, recreation center. C. Where's the health center?
E.
Again,
E.
E.
Yes.
And what about the swimming pool and sauna? Where's that?
H.
And the health store
F.
and Jenny's restaurant. Where's that?
A.
All right, all correct. Pretty good. All right, so we're going to finish there with this today. Okay, and let me send this to you after the after the class. Okay, it's the 22nd. Okay, all right. So, do you have any questions that you want to ask me?
No.
No questions. All right. How do you feel about what you're going to do after today?
Eat lunch.
How do you feel about applying for university?
So excited.
So you feel more nervous than before, right?
Yes.
Well, I don't think you need to. Okay. I think that you are going to be okay, but think about what I've said. Try and get a little bit of practice before you go. Okay. Now it could be with a friend, or could be with a teacher that you know, a family member who's just really good at English. Somebody, okay? Somebody who can just recommend how you can fill in your answers. Think about the material that I've mentioned today. You've got plenty of time. You don't need to be nervous, but you do need to get a little bit of practice before you go, okay? Before you do the test. All right,
Okay.
we'll finish there for today. If
Thank you.
you don't have any questions, enjoy your lunch, and I will see you sometime in the future. Okay? All right.